The students gathered in La Rochelle for the Yachting World Championship that is organized every year in a different French port are ready for day 4 of this exciting event. And so are we. But first of all, the skippers must be briefed. It's a long day ahead awaiting them, and it does help to know what exactly the organizers have planned for the day. And it looks like this involves a long-distance race, as well as 3 windward-leeward races. So adequate preparations for the crews and boats are crucial, because this means 1 full day in the water. The first race will start at 11 before noon, with a night race scheduled for 16:30. In this first race, it was the Italians who rounded first on the weather mark, followed by the British. The combination of a really calm sea and medium breeze helped boats reach high speeds. The French team was trying to stay in front of the Irish, who are now really trying for a better result than their less than brilliant start to the race. They kept to the right side of the course, aiming for a better breeze, whereas the French decided to stay closer to the rest of the fleet. As for the Italians, they kept their position and rounded the bottom mark first, beating the British. A packed rounding followed these two teams, with the French managing to stay in third place. Soon, most of the fleet tacked, heading to the left side of the course, as this seemed the more favorable side at this point in the race. Yet it was Team Italy that was controlling the race up to now. But the Irish managed the big surprise. They were successful in gaining several places and were now third, behind the Swedish team. What a great performance from them today! The second race started with a partial recall, because the Swedish and the Irish teams jumped the gun and were over the line. The Swiss, however, had a great start on windward, and they soon tacked, then headed right, followed by the Canadians. The Italians preferred the left side this time, but it turned out not to be the best of decisions. In fact, it cost them many places in the race. So the Irish were the first to round the mark. The jibe set they executed showed very well it was the right side benefiting them all during the upwind. In the second rounding, the fleet was quite packed as it reached the weather mark. But after hoisting their spinnakers, they all headed downwind and towards the sunny Gulf of La Rochelle, where the sailing experience was very much improved. When the Irish finally rounded the bottom mark, the distance separating them from the rest of the fleet was indeed considerable. Team USA were able to claim second place, and Canada came in third, just a few meters ahead of the team from Switzerland. Following a third windward-leeward race, it was finally time for the fleet to get some rest. After about an hour, they had to be ready for the start of the night race. And this was also going to be the longest race of the Student Yachting World Championship at 28 nautical miles. In these light winds, however, it would take the crews more than 5 hours before they would be able to race the entire course designated by the organizers here in La Rochelle. After the 3 races today, the Canadians are still in the lead, only 2 points ahead of the Irish that remain in second in front of the French, last year's champions. It's been a long, tiring day for the students here in France. After a good night's rest, they'll return tomorrow for the 5th day of one very exciting yachting championship so far unfolding in La Rochelle. Be sure to join us again tomorrow.